This is episode 230, Prohibitively Loud and Expensive.
It's the 10th year of the tone control.
Yeah.
I'll put that at the beginning. Wow. Oh man.
We forgot about that during the show.
We forgot about that until the very end. But thanks everybody. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Whatever. Why not? Sorry for coughing so much.
If you see droopy eyes, it's justified.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get into what's up, this is traditionally the episode where we completely forget how to podcast, right? Because we've had
a day off, yeah.
A day off. We've had an abnormally long break.
Yeah.
And it's right after the new year, and like we were talking about just before the show, I feel the lack of motivation so hard on this day. Like for us, it's just been like 4 or 5 days of being up later than I usually am. Mm-hmm. And the kiddo still wakes up, and it's like,
Yep.
So I came out to work this morning, and I did eventually like get into my normal routine, but it was like 2 hours later than it was supposed to be or usually is. And anyway, and I don't even have a infant. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not here to keep being tired. Like that's a shitty thing to do to people.
But I know that that's a different level.
Well, it's just, I mean, I don't know. Sleep here is okay. Like that's not really the concern. The concern is just constant sickness. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure everyone in the U.S. is sick right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
everyone.
It's like it's like 350,000 people.
Yeah. So
like
if your mic's not
350 million, I'm sure it's not 350,000.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, Justin.
I'm not. Or are you one of our Canadians? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like a little sick, which is just my new state. I'm
a little
introducing
sick.
Being a little sick.
Yeah. I had, I remember not being one of those people who doesn't get sick very much. I worked from home, things like that, have a kid. Kind
of sick all the time.
Yeah, a little bit of stuff starts to happen. Kid goes to school. Then it was just like, whoop. Once the kid turned, she was like 2 when she first started going to school, because we had privileged home care like from myself and my mother-in-law and stuff for a long, long time. But anyway, she starts going places and it starts coming home. It's like, well, as we're all wont to say, a peck of dirt or whatever you're supposed to eat or something like that. I mean, to a certain extent, you are developing immune systems, but it's not like you want it to happen all the time, all at once. Ugh.
Yeah, so Jack has RSV, and which in adults is not a big deal, but in kids, it's little kids, it's a really big deal. So we're dealing with that. I'm not going to get into like the specifics of how shitty RSV is, but like it just sucks. It's like a super cold. And he can't really like clear his throat and stuff, and it makes breathing hard, and it can turn into other stuff if you're not careful. So, at
that age, you can't give him all the medicines all the time, and you can't explain it to him.
Nope. And he can't blow his nose, he can't clear his throat, stuff like that. And everything that we take for granted, like going, like babies can't do that, and you never think about that. You never think about that until you're like, baby, just blow your nose. Oh.
Right. You have to do the sucker thing and
then you're not supposed to do that much, but he needs it that much, and then it makes it worse, and it's like a whole
So you're balancing it, like stressing out his face versus
Yeah. So we just got back from urgent care like an hour ago because it's New Year's Day observed here, and the pediatrician's office is closed, which is where we would have liked to go, but Oh, okay, off we go to urgent care. Fortunately, they saw us right away, which was great. It was busy,
good.
but we're like, we have a baby with RSV, and they're like, come right in. We have a room for you and
Well,
everything.
yeah. One, baby. Two,
Yep.
get out of our waiting room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's about as good as it can be, and we're just in the got to deal with it kind of phase. So not an emergency room. Emergency rooms are not like that, and urgent care. It's like the hospital urgent care. They have this other location that's run by the hospital and stuff.
Nice.
So we were there, but not far from the house. But yeah, hopefully he does get better soon. Thanks, Mike. It's just a drag. And I'm supposed to go back to work tomorrow, and he's supposed to go to daycare tomorrow. So we'll see.
Yeah.
He can go to daycare as long as he doesn't have a fever. That's the rule. So,
and the fever's been sort of coming and going. So
it's in and out. Yeah. And so he's downstairs sleeping right now. He just fell asleep on the way home. And we're like, you know what? You can just stay in that car seat.
You can do it, dude. Yeah. You got to get it.
Just may as well. Just you're comfortable. You're snoozing. Have at it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you ran into this, Justin. This is now the parent control.
Yep. Well, look, there's no guitar related.
There's no agenda
show
today.
Notes planned. So if we say anything about guitars in the next hour,
actually,
it's an accident.
I have a pedal I thought we could talk about.
Oh,
later.
all right.
But anyway, so from Pedal Genie, so for later. But the thing about having a kid that was it's stressful. You're getting ready and all this stuff. What's it going to be like? And then when you think of sick kids, you usually think of toddlers maybe, or toddler age. I don't often, the mental picture is not often infant for a sick kid, Yeah. So Jack is in daycare, so of course this is going to happen. So the stuff that you're thinking about as you move into this new phase of your life, becoming a parent and stuff, for me anyway, was often raising the child, right? Stuff like turning them into a good person and the bonding moments and all this other stuff that's you know what I mean? The high level, the slow burn stuff that's teachable moments and how am I going to help a kid through a breakup or stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I know what
you don't think about the what do I do when my 5-month-old is having a hard time breathing, right? Because then you can't really do anything, and other than just watch them be sick and give them some medicine and stuff, and they're just you help me, and you can't. So it just sucks. That's the part that for me has been wow, there's no preparing I could have done for this yet. Here it is,
right?
Still sucking.
Still right? There, yeah.
Yeah. And not that I'm ready to help Jack through a hard breakup or something like that, but that's the kind of thing that you can slow down and take a beat and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this part though, it's just what do you do? Nothing. You hope he gets okay.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's fortunate you have a place like that urgent care nearby.
Yeah.
Because, I said to you earlier, they're going to check him out. They're going to be okay, everything's proceeding as expected. You're okay to go home. And that's kind of the answer you want. It feels sort of stupid on the one hand to go into a place like that when they're just going to tell you that, but they have to. It's the age and they have to, and they can check, they can check his blood oxygen and then they actually know right? Yeah. This is actually not harming him in the long run right now.
Yeah.
So
there was a big fat, he's fine. He's okay. It's not great, but he's okay. Yeah. And we're just dealing with him being fine and okay. And, it's been going on. He's had some kind of cough since we had COVID, and that was after Thanksgiving. So now it's all right, it's been a month. And when's this part going to go away? And then it became RSV. He got that at daycare most likely.
Yeah.
So everyone's doing everything right. But at some point it's just I'm can we get through today so tomorrow can come and we can get through tomorrow too? So it's just a drag and oh, look, there's baby socks in my pocket. Neat.
Pocket socks. Yep.
Pocket socks. # pocket socks.
Have a little extra. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Pocket socks.
Put them back in the pocket because one of these days you're going to be somewhere and it's going to be oh my God, shoot, what am I going to... Pocket socks. Save the day.
Yeah. Because when they have a fever, the pediatrician told us to take his socks off.
Oh, all right.
Just helps him off gas,
Like a goddamn pear.
Yeah.
Or a banana. But that makes perfect fucking sense. Why did I never think of that? Like in the summertime, we have like a little dog pool. We'll sit outside and just put water in the pool and you put your feet in it.
You feel great.
It's life-changing.
Yep.
I mean, on the scale of what to do for an hour on a hot day, life-changing. Yeah. It's low-level life-changing.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, I'm just coming in hot again. I feel like last episode I came in hot. And I'm just like, this is just me now. Like I come in flustered from having a sick kid and stuff. And I sit down and I'm like, it's just a fucking podcast, okay?
Yep. It's all good. It's all good. There's
other news.
This is the process of life. Yeah, I'll tell you what. So let's punctuate this, and then I'm going to tell another story that is also to do with having a coughing kid for months. All right.
Thanks to Pedal Genie for sponsoring the tone control. Visit pedalgenie.com and start your wish list today.
So it makes me think of this because Aria has, I think, just about kicked this cough that she's had for real like 3 months.
Yeah, I remember you talking about it here.
Yeah, and she, at first, it was like this thing that sort of, she started coughing and it sort of presented as a cold, sort of, but eventually it got bad enough and they checked her out and she has none of the things you can test for, right? Mm-hmm. We do the whole workup. And so the ped is like, it's a sinus infection, like a bacterial sinus infection that you can get from just like slightly inflamed tissues from allergies or something, so that because she couldn't name a cause, basically she calls it that. And anyway, so we go through 2 courses because it keeps coming back. We go through 2 courses of antibiotics. When it comes back the first time, it's like sort of an ear infection. So we do it again. And then we see an ENT because the cough keeps hanging on, even when the rest of the symptoms subside. And he thinks, sometimes these sinus infections, they just persist because there's no way to get medicine there. And it's sort of a large facial cavity, right? Mm-hmm. So then she goes on antibiotics for 3 weeks. These are the pills she had to learn to take. And that was a whole ordeal, right? She gets through it, and once again, it sort of seems to get better in the middle, and then it sort of comes back. By the time we're done, we're not sure if anything's different over the course of 3 weeks. We schedule again with some other doctor. This person is pulmonology.
Oh, okay.
And because now they're like, well, it's the next thing is either you go pulmonology, and they're thinking something like asthma, or allergist. To really get down to it with allergies. So, but the pulmonologist was like, okay, look, we're gonna figure this. We're gonna figure this out. She says, here's what's going on, but we need to instead of shooting all the guns, we're just going to do one thing at a time. So she's gonna test for everything, and then we're only gonna change one thing at a time so that we can actually find the cause.
Such as the scientific method.
And I said to Marielle, this sounds like we're slowing down. But in the beginning, when you have a kid that's sick, you just go, do all this. Because the very first doctor, they were like, here's antibiotics, also take 2 different allergy medicines, and we'll see if we can calm those tissues down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're doing everything and you're not sure what helps. But that's what you do when you have a sick kid. Right.
Yeah,
we
if
wouldn't
it
have
had gone away,
that we
then
didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So we see pulmonology. She gets a blood draw to test for allergens. And they do a panel, right? We're gonna fucking know, right? And then, she does a lung function test, which is where you play this game, right? You have to breathe into a big tube.
You have to raise a ball or something.
It's like on a computer, but she has to make a balloon inflate on a computer and stuff. She does she goes through this whole thing. She gets the blood draw. A couple of days later, they schedule it. They couldn't do it the same day. She gets a CT scan of her head. They're like, we're going to find out about this girl's goddamn sinuses.
What the fuck is going on in here?
Which is super fun. It doesn't take long to do. She loved it. She was like,
cool.
And it was over with. And so then we have this fun picture of her head that's very gruesome. And she thought it was fun. And basically, we're coming up with, she's allergic to nothing. She doesn't seem to have any lung function problems. Her oxygen is all correct. Her CT scan looks fine. She'd already had a chest x-ray before. I guess I missed that part of the story. Her lungs are fine. there's no obvious anything. And just when we're almost frustrated with that, she's almost not coughing now. So like at the end of the day, this whole thing at the end of the day, we're coming down to it probably was sort of a series of chain infections, like maybe a couple of mild colds that caused a sinus infection, and then it just kept rolling on for a while. And even though she was still coughing after the antibiotics, it just eventually calmed down. And she's probably going to be fine without any intervention. She actually got sent home with like test asthma medicine and a little, they make them use this thing. It looks like drug paraphernalia, but instead of just directly doing an inhaler, when they give them to kids, they train you on this thing where you sort of fill up this chamber first and then breathe in from the chamber. I don't really know why, but she hasn't even used it. And it was supposed to be just like, try this if you have a coughing.
I got eyes on the chat here. It's great. Maybe so she's faking it, committed to the bit.
I'm sorry. I don't know enough about the smoking paraphernalia to be able to describe it in a competent way. So I'm pretty sure that's a bong. But don't bongs have water in them? Or is that a different thing?
I don't know,
bongs
dude.
have water. Like, I don't know about this stuff. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'm not that cool. Sorry. Sure. Okay. I'm getting nothing. I think they're all talking about me behind my back. It's fine. It doesn't
there's like a separate chat, just like the oh my god Justin chat.
It's the listen to this guy chat. So anyway, yes, she has a bong, I guess, but there's no water in it. I don't know, dude. So but she hasn't used it. Like she's supposed to try it like because apparently sometimes you can you can tell if it immediately gets better, then you have some reaction to the whatever that medicine is.
Yeah.
And if she does, that doesn't even mean she has asthma. Or what it really means is like sometimes people have asthma for a little while when they're a kid and then it kind of resolves.
It can go away. I was just talking to a friend. They think their kid, I think he's 6.
Yeah.
They're leaning towards it's looking like asthma, but
yeah.
Or no, he had it and then he's like trending out of it already.
Yeah. Yeah. And they say, and they said that's fine. And what they'll do is she'll have a like thing on her record that says asthma, but they will take it off when she stops needing the medicine at all. Which is totally like normal, I guess. Yeah, so weird. Yeah.
Well, like kids grow out of stuff like Jack can't have milk proteins like cow's milk proteins and soy. And it's just a thing that we've got to deal with because that's what you do, I guess. Yeah. But like the gastroenterologist is like, he'll grow out of it.
Yeah.
Like he's not lactose intolerant, but he is right now.
Well, because the lactose intolerance you're supposed to grow into. That's the other end.
Yeah. So anyway, my office is a mess because it's become like a Christmas gift dumping ground, as you can kind of see.
Oh, okay, right.
Like the rest of it's like in this corner on my desk.
Is it like you're not at work right now, so this is the room that's not being used?
Pretty much, yeah. So there's like a bunch of baby stuff in here. I got this. I don't know if you can really tell. I got a new boom for my microphone.
You know, I was looking at that, but I didn't quite pick it up that it was new.
Yeah, so I need to actually balance it still because it's a little heavy on this end. I had to raise my desk a second ago to like bring it where I want it.
Your mic's drooping down, so you're going to raise your whole desk.
I raise the whole desk.
He's looking up at the camera.
Yeah. The mic works, yeah. But what's great about it is it's got the track in the top to hold the mic cable. And these little clips, I don't know if you can, so these little clips come up and they just,
that's
in
nice.
there.
So you can thread.
And it snaps, yep. And so I can leave it all connected now instead of having to put all of this away every time I put my mic down, you know, because I used to like, the other boom I had was just kind of flimsy and it was in a bad spot on my desk, but this one's much longer so it can be on the back of my desk instead of next to me. Mm-hmm. And it's just all around far more
ergonomic
robust.
And useful.
Like, yeah. It's stronger. It doesn't ping in the same way. Like it's just better. So I just need to like tighten the thing on the bottom and balance it up, you know, with the tension that I want. And it's killer. So,
hey, that's music gear technically.
Yeah. What else? Any other music gear stuff? I got a pedal we'll talk about in a bit.
All right. I got one of my friends. This is out of focus, but so it's one of these holographic illusions, right? So it's an etched sheet of plexiglass. Acrylic, and with LEDs, right? And so I've just got it sort of on rainbow vomit.
Is it your logo and
It's the studio
name?
logo, yeah.
Cool. I like that.
And I figured I'd put it there so it would be in this shot.
That's good. It's perfect.
It's pretty neat. And wife had gotten me basically the same exact thing, but the plates are like structural drawings of spaceships from my game.
Oh,
so that's
awesome.
down in the other room.
Yeah.
And it's causing me, now I'm like, I have a
Which room am I
redesign.
in? Look at the plates.
Right, exactly. So I want to like do a redesign of my game room now, and it's going to involve like storing part of the couch that's down there that nobody uses. And so I have been storing trash. I don't know if you guys do this. Sound off in the chat. But when there's something you need to get rid of that you don't use anymore, it's like a large object or something, and you have a storage room, you just put it in the storage room, and pretty soon I'm like crawling over stuff, and I'm like, I used to be able to walk through this. What the fuck? And
my
so
basement's an absolute shit show. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I have to find a place to store like part of a couch, and I know there's room in here. I just have to throw away. I only have to throw away like 4 things and then just organize it. And I'm going to reclaim like 100 square feet of space.
Yeah.
But, and then I'm going to take decorations and set them up and move the whole thing around. It's going to be great. But anyway.
Yeah, we're in the middle of tearing down Christmas here. And it's like, I just need to take the 15 minutes it takes to break down 400 boxes. Yeah. And then I'll have all this extra room. Speaking of acrylic, I already showed you guys this, but I'll throw it on the pod. Beth got me this marble maze. And it's in this acrylic box. This is all laser cut balsa wood.
And I saw you assembled it, right? Like
it comes flat packed like IKEA, and you just pop out all of these pieces, and they snap together with no glue or fasteners or anything. They're just friction, and you can see the marble. Here is this black glass marble that's floating around, and this right here, this like L-shaped thing. So these circles are all flush against the acrylic, so it doesn't move around. And this is the start of the track. So you just move it over to there, and now it's up on the platform.
Oh, man.
And it moves around, and then you got to flip it. Wait, am I going the right way? No.
You got to flip it so it goes onto that side. You got to flip
it so you move the whole thing in like entirely in 3D and stuff on every axis to like run through the maze. And there's 3 levels of maze within this, 3 different paths it can take. It's sequential, so you have to start on 1, then you get to 2, then 3. I haven't actually solved it yet because I put it together and then haven't had a lot of free time. And it comes with a stand, so it's like up on my bookshelf over here, and it stands up in this like this kind of orientation, which is awesome to look at.
Oh, cool.
So that's rad. And soon, I didn't solve this because I was onto my next build project, which is the Lego world map.
The Lego map, yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to go right here behind me when I have it done. Actually, I'll post a photo in the chat because it came out fucking great. And here we go. Send. It's about 11,000 pieces. And you make this by, it's so rad. Oh wait, that's not even the final one. Hang on. Here it is.
That's the one from like yesterday morning or something.
Yeah, so here's the finished one. It's got a frame around it, like it comes with gear with bricks and stuff to make like a very shallow shadow box, so you don't knock off pieces on the edges.
Okay.
And yeah, throw that in the video for us.
All right. Yeah, let's.
It looks so good. It's so awesome. Can you glue it? What do you mean, like glue all the pegs down? I mean, you could. It would take you.
Don't glue Lego, you monster.
The Craggle. So what's rad is like this is 40 16 by 16 stud tiles. And so each tile has 256 dots on it.
And they're dots too, because I saw one of the close-ups you shared. They're not like just a square Lego, they're a circle.
They're a round Lego. Yeah.
Right. So it causes you to be able to see the texture to it, where you wouldn't necessarily. There it is. Yeah. Oh, here
so I shared this one, and the land masses are raised, which is super cool. So as you kind of go through, you can see it. It has like a raised shadow. Texture. Yeah, and there is a shadow piece. So like it's just wicked. And they have it all set up so you can customize the oceans and stuff. I went with the one that's the default, which is like the ocean depth.
Yeah.
Which is like
cool.
Very cool. But as long as you do the land masses and their blue outlines, like the shadow piece for it, and leave the rest to whatever.
Is
You
that
can
blue?
customize it any way you want. It's a dark navy blue.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah. So the background tile is black. And then the land masses are white, and then the navy blue border. And then everything else is just like a paint by numbers thing. Like the instructions have a 1-to-1 finished thing. And it's like, here's 256 dots, row 1. And they're all just 1 through 10. Like there's 10 values, and you just lay them out over and over and over.
Wow.
It's rad. So I gotta find a way to hang it up. It comes with some special hardware to get it on a wall. So I got to deal with that, figure out where I want it to go. I'm probably going to move some concert posters and stuff up here because you can't really see it on my camera, but the rest of this wall is empty. It's a huge wall, and there's nothing on it except my guitars. So I kind of want to fill it up with some cool stuff. I have this weird problem where the wall's so big, like any one thing on it looks way too small.
Looks stupid.
Yeah. So I need to kind of get a bunch of stuff on there. Yeah, so it's like a Christmas explosion here in a very cool way. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. It's been I mean, we have a pretty chill time over here as far as Christmas is concerned. But and then over the next few days we've had like a few different friend groups that have, one of them on New Year's, or some of Marielle's new from grad school people, which I was in fear about because they're so much younger than us. And one time we had them over for a game night, and they were raring to go way later than I was. And I was like, I don't want to kick you guys out of my house, but you're seeing me get droopy. But I was
you got to get those cocktail napkins that say please leave by 10.
But Marielle was like, but it's New Year's. Like, we're gonna stay up and watch the thing anyway, right? And it was fine. Really, what I found was there wasn't very much difference between that and what they would do on a normal night.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that bad. And then last night, some other friends that we hadn't seen, and they we do a little gift exchange with them too, which is where that's from.
Cool.
And they like to give Aria some cool things, a little terrarium, and and this thing that's like the size of an iPad mini, but it's black, and you have a pen and you can draw on it, and it's like rainbow colored. What you reveal, but I think it's e-ink. I think it's
no way,
because it has a battery, but it's like a little watch battery, and the only thing it's for is when you push the button, it erases back to black. So I think it's just e-paper, like an audio, like a Kindle, but it's black, and you reveal the rainbow colored under. That
sounds like something I want. I got this cool pew 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 shirt. Yeah. For my podcast co-host.
Yeah. It was when we saw that, it was like, oh, that one.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of.
For sure. Pew, 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 pew.
Speaking of pew, 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 and more Legos, I also got this Star Wars diorama.
The trench run.
The trench run scene. I bought this for myself because I'm an adult.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude. You want to like talk about a guitar thing? I got a pedal.
We could. I still have your thing up on the screen. Yeah, I mean, it dawns on me now, I fixed supposedly my Pedal Genie wish list a long time ago, and
they still haven't.
Apparently, I need to grease those wheels a little bit more because nothing.
So here's what happened.
Then, so,
but you got yours set up. I got an email that said you're going to get the Hawaiian pizza from Caroline Guitar Company, and I was like, great. That's the one that we said on the podcast a while ago. Ham is the input. Remember that?
I do only because I just listened to our special episode. And
so that was we were talking about the Hawaiian pizza, and it's a fuzz, and I was like, this thing's supposed to be great. I'm so looking forward to it. I get the box. It says Caroline Hawaiian Pizza on it.
Okay.
And what's in the box but the Earthquaker Devices Grand Orbiter?
Oh, that's
so they sent me the wrong pedal in the right box with the right email. So
nothing even correct about it.
Not even close. Yeah. So I let them know, and they were like, okay.
Fun people there. I'll tell you what. We should do we haven't done this in a bit, but we should do the Pedal Genie ad read, and that means we're going to need gifts.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do a gift call because I was taking care of a sick baby.
How about the gifts? Let's make the gifts not sick babies. Butts, classic.
Butts, you want to go classic? I was gonna say Lego actually, but
Lego. I wonder. Lego could be good.
Yeah, let's do Lego.
All right, let's do Lego. Let's do
Lego
that.
gifts.
Let's do that. Lego gifts. All right. Here it comes, everybody, and go.
Pedal Genie is like the Netflix of guitar pedals. Rent any pedal you want for as long as you want, for one low monthly price. Shipping is included and there are no late fees or time limits. With over 1,500 pedals to try from nearly 100 different manufacturers, Pedal Genie definitely has the gear you want to try. Subscriptions start with Flex at just $22 a month. Try out one pedal at a time for as long as you want. Send it back when you're ready for the next one. For only $47 a month, the standard subscription includes shipping, so you could have a different pedal every few days. If one isn't enough for you, Pedal Genie Pro gets you 3 pedals at a time for only $77 a month. Shipping included. There's a subscription for everyone, and best of all, your first month is free. If you find the pedal of your dreams, the one you just have to keep, Pedal Genie will offer you a buyout option. Prices vary with the length of your membership and the type of pedal, but you'll definitely get an awesome price for the pedal in your hand. So head to pedalgenie.com to fill up your wishlist with pedals, and they'll send out your first pedal ASAP. Pedal Genie. All your pedal wishes granted.
Very good.
Well, as could be predicted, they're heavily stepping on Lego-based gifts.
Oh.
All right, so the actual pedal that this is the Earthquaker. What did he say it was, guys?
Grand Orbiter.
Grand Orbiter. Phase Machine.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta adjust a level here.
That's no problem. I have to tell Earthquaker that I accept all their cookies.
Does this sound like normal?
Yeah.
Sounds quiet to me. Okay. All right, whatever. I'm on my strat today.
Yeah.
So the Grand Orbiter is a phaser, and I was surprised to get it. It also does vibrato, I think. I played it once before Christmas, and it's been sitting in my office ever since. It is one of the slowest phasers I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, okay.
And as a fan of slow phase, I might say it's like kind of too slow sometimes. Like you can't really tell what it's doing. So there's like a rate subdivision thing, and with 1, 2, or 3. So here we go. So I've got the rate at noon, and I'm on rate speed rating number 3. So that's whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So sounds like a phaser.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move it down to rating number 1. I haven't moved the rate knob.
So that could be half speed.
It's very slow, but like that's I like that.
Yeah.
Just dropped the rate knob down a little. There it goes. It's very. It's super slow. Yeah, I kind of dig it too.
I think that's what I would like in it. Yeah. This might be it. This might be why I never liked phasers.
Yeah.
They need to fucking chill out like this one. Nope. See, this is bad.
What are you talking about, Justin?
This is awful. You've made a terrible sound.
So, there's also knobs for depth, sweep, and resonance. So you can get a really subtle, it's a 4-stage phaser, so you can get like a really subtle phase 45 type of sound.
The resonance is going to kind of alter, I mean, correct me here, but like the part of a phaser where it's at, I guess, probably its peak, where it kind of gets a little squeaky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so maybe a resonance would ease that somewhat.
like the resonance is like how vocal it is, in my opinion. Like that's kind of. So this is max resonance. Like it's the most swirly.
You get that wham quick thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I bring that way down. So now it's all the way off. It's not as vowel-like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to say
it. So now everything at noon, we switch it to vibrato. Is it quieter?
It does seem a little quieter.
Yeah. Hang on. Yeah, it just is.
So is this like the slowest vibrato in history? No.
I mean, effectively, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We'll turn that up a little bit. So it's a vibrato in the way that like a univibe is vibrato.
Like it's mixed in or something?
Yeah,
maybe?
it's like the mix is different. So. There we go. A little more motion. Very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
With it off.
Oh, it's a little, yeah.
So it's just adding the littlest bit of motion. Yeah. And, you know, I've said a million times I don't like vibrato because I don't like my guitar feeling out of tune.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been kind of experimenting a little bit with it lately on the Juliana. And for single note stuff, if you can dial in a subtle vibrato that's not like, oh my God, seasick. That's a sleeper move. Like having a little bit of motion on single note lines, it's a very cool little trick. And it just gives it this like, it helps stand off everything else in a cool way. Gives it a little bit of extra something on top. So
my feeling about vibrato effects, again, like it's usually it's like that's the best way to use it. But I always think about Zelda 2. You know, in the way that the little NES would do with a little vibrato in that. And so I have a like fond memory about it, you know, a memory association with it, even though like musically, it's you really have to be a lot more subtle than that to most of the time, you know.
I like the phase setting a lot more. Like if I had this pedal, it would stay on phaser. But if you're looking for a 4-stage phaser, you know, that's really subtle in the camp of phase 90 or, you know, more closely phase 45, check this one out because, you know, phase is one of my favorite modulation effects and this is a really good specimen.
Phase is the slowest, right?
We talk about this. I think it is.
Is flange slower?
I think phase is the slowest because flange and chorus are so close.
Yeah. But they
and
are
chorus
kind
would
of,
definitely be the fastest, right? So
yeah, I feel like they're all usually made the same way or similarly, but they're sort of, this is like the distortion versus overdrive versus boost, or fuzz or whatever. You know, there's different sort of levels of the same thing, and obviously there's characteristics that become more optimized for one part of the range than the other. But
right, so. Whatever. I mean, I still, you know, I want to try the Caroline Hawaiian pizza, but I'm glad I got the Grand Orbiter. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Cuts the... What?
Oh, let's see. Vibrato is created by tuning the resonance down low. Oh.
So the phase vibrato switch, according to this, cuts the dry signal.
Oh, is that what's happening?
So, okay, so all you're hearing is the affected part of the phase, not the dry mix. And if you lower the resonance, it turns into a vibrato effect.
There we go.
Okay. Which is why it gets quieter. It's cutting out your dry. Yeah. You know, it's funny that they didn't. They look like they've designed something pretty elegant here. Couldn't they have put in like an amp that compensates for that?
That would be nice. Yeah.
Even if it was just a set screw in the side or something, maybe.
Yeah.
But you said you like the phase side of it better anyway, so.
I think most people will.
If you wanted, if you want a vibrato effect, there's probably a better vibrato effect out there. Right?
There is. I think it's the Juliana or the Julia, either one. Where's mine? Oh, it's over on top of my amp, which is like exactly behind the boom. But yeah, I mean, Vibe is a vibrato, not univibe, is such an interesting effect because it gives you a little bit of motion. Like it's why I use the reel-to-reel tape thing in Helix all the time. Mm-hmm. Because it gives you just the subtlest little flutter, and flutter. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that one, you can also saturate it, so it's a cool overdrivey thing. But, you know, I don't notice it until I'm listening to just like amp hum and you can hear it wiggling a little bit. Or, you know, when on long sustained notes or chords, you can hear it wiggle. But when you're doing, again, single note stuff, it really gives you something nice.
Yeah. All right. My take on this Grand Orbiter is they made this phase pedal and they did a really good job. And then at some point they realized if they just put a toggle switch that cut the clean, they could claim it's a vibrato also. Because that's what we see now. It's like, shoot, if you cut the clean signal out of the mix, and they didn't bother to compensate for that at all, it's just a toggle. Yeah, I mean, okay, they technically added an extra feature there for next to free, so that's cool.
It's $200.
Yeah, all right. I think Earthquaker is. I always think of them as being like kind of a high end outfit.
Oh yeah,
You know,
definitely.
like I feel like I'm paying for metal when I buy from them. You know what I mean? Like I'm paying
the
for
quality
rugged
of parts
construction for sure.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed everything I've had from Earthquaker. I'll say that. Yeah. I remember trying the Hoof Reaper and the Afterneath at some point. All really great. Grab it here. Yeah, it's also on a pedal board on my floor. It's got a rate LED too, so you can always see how fast it's going. That is not the bypass LED. So that's cool. And
feedback.
Yep. Let's see. Handmade in Akron, Ohio.
Yep.
There you go. I was going to say something else about it, and I forget. I think if it was just a phaser, $200 is a little steep.
But it kind of is just a phaser. And that little thing is a there's
you're right.
There's a switch on my Brown amp over here. There's a switch right above the input jack. And the way the input circuit is designed, I think this is fairly common, but there's just a little resistor or I don't remember what component it is, but there's just a little thing stretched across a couple of the pins, and it's on that switch. So you engage it, and it's a gentle boost to the input. It's not anything crazy, but it kind of makes it's not totally linear, and it makes it sound a little more full. Now, it always sounds better with that turned on.
Yeah.
It's something that probably is in most amps and is just always on because it sounds, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But when my friend made this, he's like, oh, I can put this in and it's like an extra feature, and you put a switch in and it's like an extra feature. It's never off. I would never, every time I turn it off, it sounds worse. So is that a feature? Like, this is a philosophical question. Like, is that a feature?
Yeah. Well, for another example, I guess I didn't talk about this on the show, but I got a new amp a little while ago, and it's right here. It's the Fender, I saw my Strat, and I was like, it's a Fender. it's the PRS HDRX20, which is a modern recreation of one of Jimi Hendrix's Marshalls played at Woodstock. And
Oh, wow.
that's not why I bought
realize
it. Yeah. So it's not, I'm not like a Hendrix head or anything like that, but I have never owned a Marshall style amp, and it's a very good rendition or interpretation of a plexi. And it's just
right on.
so
Okay.
anyway, it's a 4-input Marshall, but it only has 1 input on this model because it's internally jumped. Because it always sounds better when you right. So it's always jumped. And then there's the bass volume and treble volume, like the treble channel, bass channel volumes that you just blend together. Those are right on the front.
Yeah.
So
okay, so the amp still, the topology still works the same way. It's just you're never going to not jump it. So why expose those bits of the circuit to potential failures by putting them outside the amp?
Yeah, and you can just dial one all the way out if you don't want to use it anyway. So
oh yeah, okay.
There you go. So anyway, it's a rad amp. Like if anyone's looking for a plexi style amp, it's righteous. It's actually the reason my Strat is in my office, and something like a 3 single coil guitar into a plexi is the sound. Like it really is. It nails it. But I'm not out here trying to sound like Jimi Hendrix or anything like that. But man, is it a killer amp. It's a good one.
That's cool. Like yesterday when I was thinking about what we're going to talk about on the show, I sort of pondered like, oh my God, what the fuck are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
It's like I started thinking like, are we going to do any like year end stuff? I don't know. We sort of did that already. Do we need to? What changed this year about guitar stuff? I was thinking in my head, this was probably the year when I stopped very much thinking about real amps. And not that I'm like out to like buy other stuff, but when every single time I've been recording something, it's been a Helix or something like that.
Yeah.
And I've got some of my clients that were sort of like pacing out projects over long periods of time. I've spent a little time with him, getting him set up. He has Helix stuff. So it's just, well, you know what? You don't actually need to come to my studio if you don't want to, and send me tracks. And I get Pro Tools sessions from him that are just, spaced out a bunch of Helix inputs. And I was thinking like, I used to sort of not want to do stuff like that. And I liked having these around. I would reamp stuff through them and stuff like that. And now it's like, I kind of am reamping through that, or, so the dark glass that comes in here from time to time for bass stuff and things like that. But you have several Helixes and
so
have
that's
still
the
bought
thing.
a few amps in the past couple of years.
I've had the Rev for I guess like 2 years now, or a year and a change at this point. Which I'm keeping because it has that digital out on it. I can't this PRS amp is rad, but unfortunately people on the podcast won't hear it because I don't have the means to record it. Right? I don't have a 2 notes. I don't have an aux box. I don't have anything, a cab and a mic setup that I can realistically do that with because, I just don't. This is just my house. So I got it because I like guitar amps, right? Like that's the only reason. And I got it I found it's used. I got an amazing deal on it. So it just is what it is. Like
do you think the value of those has come down? Because like you mentioned how good the price was. I mean, that's obviously so this
amp's really new.
Maybe that's not the main factor, but it's a key factor, right? Like you wouldn't have paid full price.
So it's made overseas. So there's that. It's okay. So let me give you a little background here on the PRS HDRX line. They made a year or two ago, I don't even know when, they made 2 amps, the HDRX 50 and 100. And they were the same deal. Hendrix's Woodstock Marshalls, made in the US, a 50-watt version and a 100-watt version. And they're really expensive. And they're not hand-wired or anything like that, but they are, about as boutique as you can get from a brand like PRS. And they're extremely loud, and they are extremely great amps. Sound awesome, very impractical. So they released this 20-watt version, far more usable volume range, no power scaling, but that's okay. A Marshall wouldn't have had it then anyway.
Yeah.
And if you care about the reissue stuff. And it's made overseas. So retails for, I think, 800 or it's under 1,000. Actually, I have Sweetwater open anyway. Oops, HDRX 20. It might be 700? $799. So it's a head only. You can get a matching cab. I have the Rev cab. Excuse me. And I got it for $625. something like that.
Oh, yeah.
See, like that's what I mean. And this version, the 20 watt, only came out in like September or October. So the market is very quickly adjusting to that, I guess. It's
lowering that cost a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like brand new, so it's in great shape. And even it's so new in the market that even a used one isn't that old.
Right. Yeah. It can't be. So, and I mean, that's the question I ask is like, that's a highly personal answer. So it's not like, it's not like we're just going to speak for everyone, but, I do think that market pressure exists. Like the person that does want to have a large, loud amp is an increasingly narrow window. And I mean, they could also go in this other direction, this digital direction, and be fine and in some ways better off. So, how is that value equation changing? It is interesting to me to a certain extent, except, like I said, it's always going to come down to, but I like this. Yeah. And that has, that has value too.
Just for comparison, the 100 watt version of this amp is $3,100. So like it's prohibitively loud and expensive. So
what that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right.
So anyway, like as far as the question, or not question, but the conversation of caring about real amps and stuff.
Yeah.
I do not fall victim, like people listening, do not fall victim to feeling like you need to decide. It's so easy to be like, everything is marketed towards you as like, is this finally the tube amp killer? Fuck it. Like, who cares? You can have both, right? Like you so rarely are going to be in a situation where you need to pick. Yeah. And that's the only thing you can ever have. It's not like that. Nothing is ever like that. So I don't know, just like what you like. They all have different use cases. And like, I like guitar gear. It's one of the things I collect and makes me happy and I get to do things with. So yeah, I probably will play this PRS head at home mostly. Mm-hmm. But if I need to go, if I'm going to go like play at a friend's house, I'm probably not going to bring my Helix. If I'm just like hanging out and we're shooting the shit, like I'm going to bring I'm going to bring a guitar amp. And but if I join a band and we're doing, the band stuff, I might use the Helix instead. That's because I could do in-ears, or I could do totally different rigs for songs and whatever. There's a million reasons to go with both, and just I don't know. I get really tired. I've very frequently referenced my growing annoyance with the guitar industry, but this is one of them too, where it's like nothing. It's not this versus that. Yeah, like just get what you like to get at this point, and what you feel comfortable with.
The market got bigger.
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
and better. Yeah. Like there's so much better stuff now. Yeah. So
cool.
I'll put my soapbox away for now.
All right. I've just gotten a message that apparently we're leaving in 4 minutes. I thought I had another 30. So apparently I've misinterpreted what was not on my calendar. So anyway, which is why we moved the thing. Anyway, so let's put a pin in this one. And welcome to 2023, everybody.
Sucker.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Mike. So let's see, what do we do? I mean, we once again, join us on Discord, discord.io/tone /tone control, discord.io/tone control, and support the show on patreon.com/the tone control. And that's the thing. And there's all of our tiers still exist and all of our fun stuff. We will pick a date to set up a hangout for this month. Yep. At some point, we haven't picked that out yet, and that leaves just to thank the patrons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna do it then. So
here it goes.
Not screwing up anyone's names. It's Nick Greenwood, Carson Ricketts, Matthew Fenslaw, Ryzen Wolf, Jamie Evans, Doug King, Big Daddy Doug, still, Righteous Ryan Johnson, Steve Huffman, Jonas Sabatini. You're a wizard, Gary. Ryan Gower of the Tone Jerks podcast, Mako Guitars, Andrew Walsh of Andrew's Alcove, Doug Christ of 37 Effects, and Sean Wright of Lollygager Effects. Thank you all so much again. Let's have another good year, everybody. Yeah. Go get it.
10th year of the Tone Control.
Oh, yeah. Stay tuned. All right. See you next time, everybody.
Bye.